Hello everybody. I'm honestly really nervous right now. I don't know why, just anytime I put my camera to my face, I start getting nervous. I'm already getting hot and it's super cold outside. Don't mind my glasses. I dropped off my other pairs at the optometrist to get new lenses, so I'm rocking these little nerdy glasses for now because your girl is super blind and I cannot see without my glasses. I literally look like that nerd emoji. I just wanted to update you guys on what's been happening in my life. I obviously have not posted here on YouTube. Well, I have, but shorts. Actual long videos or like vlogs, I have not posted in over a year. I have recorded content. I actually have like probably 5 videos that I'm yet to post. I just get nervous and overthink things and I end up either not editing those videos or I edit them and they just sit there and I don't post them. But that is definitely something that is going to change. Going based off of the title, I think you guys know what I will be talking about today. As far as my job, I have been working at a dispensary for almost 2 years now. I started working there in May of 2022, so it would have been 2 years this year in May. The reason I chose a dispensary was because that is something that I love and I am passionate about. I figured I could get a discount on buying products myself, which would save me some money. I knew there was an opportunity to make tips, which is something I have always looked for when trying to apply for a job, whether I can get tips or incentives or have the opportunity to move up in the company or all of the above. I had actually tried to apply to basically all the dispensaries here in San Diego. However, a lot of these places said that they wanted at least a year in experience or just any experience. I have had experience on the stuff. I'm gonna say products just because YouTube's kind of strict on like certain things. I don't know, YouTube is strict and I just don't want this video to get flagged or taken down, so you guys know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna say products. So yeah, I had no experience in actually working at a dispensary. I applied to so many places and I only got called in for an interview in 2 places. The first one I went to the interview and they never called me back. The second one was my current job, which they interviewed me, I believe a week later is when they gave me a call. I was super stoked and I started working. On top of my hourly pay, I was making tips and incentives, which was really great. Before I started working there, I had took a break from working because in 2000, I don't know if it was the end of 2021. Yeah, in the end of 2021, knowledge just came in. Hey, baby. You wanna say hi? I'm like on some wheels right now. Look, say hi to the camera. Así para que veas. I lost my train of thought. Starting somewhere in 2020, 2021, I had a cyst. It was extremely painful. I couldn't do any heavy lifting. It was actually like a little sac. It wasn't necessarily like a solid object like a tumor. What the doctors had told me they believe what happened was I got a little tear on my left fallopian tube and it created a sac that would fill up with blood every month, and then throughout the month it would bleed out anytime I would do any heavy lifting, exercise like running, and if I did any force or applied any pressure to like my uterus area, I would start bleeding and I was just in a lot of pain. I was constantly getting ultrasounds and my doctors suggested different ways to try to treat it and to try to stop my period so that it would stop filling up and hopefully heal on its own. However, it was unsuccessful and towards the end of 2021, it finally just ruptured one day. Just a warning, it might get a little bit graphic. I bled out a bunch of tissue along with blood and I was in great pain, and I went to go get an ultrasound again and it seemed like that cyst was gone. So they concluded that it had just ruptured. I was with my ex-boyfriend at the time, so he told me that if I'd like, I could stop going to work and just take a break and take as long as I needed to be able to heal and just be 100%. So that's what I did. Stopped working for a while, for months, and he was financially taking care of me. It was a very toxic relationship. Towards the end, we had a conversation. I would be looking for a job and that I wanted him to leave. However, he knew without me working, I was not going to be able to take on the rent here at our house by myself. We were living together at the time, so I told him, you know, we're broken up. However, as soon as I get a job, I would like for you to leave. I asked him to leave just because all of the stuff here at the house belongs to me. As soon as I got hired there, I asked him to leave. He took the belongings that he had and he left, and I took over the lease and the rent here at my house by myself. I was very fortunate to be able to cover all of my expenses and the rent here by myself due to that job with everything that we were making. And I was also able to catch up on things that I needed to purchase around the house and just for my everyday life. It was great for a while, for a pretty long time actually. It wasn't until this year who we thought was the owner of the shop had been making plans to expand the shop, and when the time finally came when he thought it was a good idea to start that. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm like 100% sure what happened, but I'm gonna explain it to what it seems like what happened, or at least what we took out of it and what we saw happening. Basically, the owner, I'd reaching out to the other owner, and you know, I don't know how that conversation went, but it just all went downhill from there. The owner who worked at the shop, who had these plans to expand the shop, I don't know if he was told by the other owner he is not an owner, he doesn't own the shop, or this money that he wanted to get to be able to expand the shop didn't belong to him. Like I said, I don't know how that conversation went, but it just went downhill from there. And we knew that that owner was going to try to take legal action against the other one to try to fight for the shop. I'm assuming just to avoid those issues, the other owner decided to sell the shop as is. So yeah, we were told one day that we now had new owners. The person who we believed was the owner was still working there, but he had told us that he wasn't sure if he would be there anytime soon. Not because he wanted to leave, but because with the new owners, he kind of had an idea that he would be let go. And that's exactly what happened. Within the next month or two of our bosses were also let go. For a little bit, I kind of assumed that we would be safe and we would be okay. Our incentives had stopped, so now I was just making tips and my hourly wage. So over the past few months, it has been kind of tough on me. We had talked with the new owners and we were hoping that they would roll out a new incentive program. Now we knew, or at least I had in the back of my head, that it wasn't going to be the same incentives and amount of money that we were making before, but at least it would be something. I had started editing my resume because I was making plans to apply to other places. I had the idea of working 2 jobs for the meanwhile, just to try to see if they were going to roll out an incentive program. I hadn't actually submitted my resume anywhere. Sometime last month, we had heard some rumors that they were going to do a clean house. We didn't know if it was going to be all the employees or just a few that were going to be let go. Fast forward to January 31st, I had been closing that night, and we had heard a rumor that the next day, February 1st, someone was going to be let go. And we all kind of like talked within ourselves. You know, some people said they thought it was them. I made a joke saying it was probably going to be me. I was joking, but not joking. Fast forward the next day, which was yesterday, February 1st, I went into work at my scheduled time, which was 9. After that, I noticed within the next hour, all of the, not the new owners, but like the people he hired who were taking over the inventory and managing, I guess, they were all coming in. I had gone to the back to get some change for my register, and one of them was on the phone, and I heard him asking whoever he was on the phone if he had practiced his Spanish, because they are not Mexican. I don't know if they're Middle Eastern or white. I think they're white, but they don't speak Spanish. So he asked the other person, have you been practicing your Spanish? They were just making jokes, laughing it off. He was saying, oh, like, did you practice it on the car on the way here? Because you should, blah, blah, blah. He also said, we'll do it once everybody gets here. And that obviously sounded kind of suspicious to me. Like, why would you need to practice your Spanish? You know, like all of us here, we obviously speak Spanish, but we're also English speakers. So why would you really need to speak Spanish? The next hour, around 11, a new HR lady that they had brought in with part of their team came in, and I just knew she had came in the first week when the whole new owners and everything took over to introduce herself. She did an evaluation on every single employee. She also gave some of us write-ups, or I don't know about other people, but I got a write-up for my attendance. And then she left. She did not continue to work there at the shop. I know that the owner, he owns other dispensaries. I would assume that she works for those other dispensaries as the HR person. So I knew something was up the moment that I saw her come in. About 30 minutes later, she asked if she could speak to me in the unit next door away from the shop. I walked over there with her. She tried to do some small talk, asked me how my day was going. I'll be honest, I wasn't really for it. I just kind of ignored the question, and I was just there to hear out whatever she said. She started off by saying, you know, I just want to talk to you about some of the changes that we are going to be making to the shop with the new ownership. And for a second, she had me. Like, I was like, oh, you're going to talk to me about the changes? Like, want me to be aware and up to date on what's going on? But no. She then proceeded to open a folder that had like 3-4 different papers in a packet. With the first page, I right away noticed that it said subject to layoff. She proceeded to tell me how my I just like heard knocking. So she proceeded to tell me that I was basically being laid off due to my position being eliminated. I got my final checks and everything I needed to be paid out for. I signed those papers. She had a security in there supervising the whole situation, I guess, just to make sure I didn't attack her or whatever. But then she asked him, you know, to escort me out. And so I went back next door. I had obviously left my stuff there, like my phone, my bag, and I had stuff in my locker. I grabbed all my stuff and I kind of like me despedí, like I tried saying bye to one of the employees, Pablo, but I immediately like felt myself like wanting to tear up. So I was just kind of like, all right, you know, I'll see you later. Like, don't worry, like I'll talk to you later, you know? And I just walked out. And then once I went outside, I was saying bye to the security who was escorting me. His name is Enrique, and I hugged him goodbye. There they are. Oh man. Enrique, if you're watching this, I hate you. But I hugged them goodbye, and I just had an emotional moment just because he was the first person that I saw when I first came to that job. I still vividly remember getting out of the car, walking. I had parked like a few stores down because I didn't know that was exactly where it was. And I walked over to him. I made eye contact with him, and I just told him, hey, I'm here for an interview. So it was just kind of an emotional moment knowing that he was the first person that I had greeted and the very last person that I was greeting there. I did text a few of my coworkers. I had texted one of them that I had closed with the night before, kind of like saying, by the way, it was me. He called me and told me that 2 other employees had just got off the phone with him, telling him that they had just gotten laid off as well. So those were the people who were coming in for the afternoon shift. That specific coworker did not get laid off, so he was there for the rest of the night, and it seems like a total of 6 or 7 of us got laid off. It had made sense, them saying if they had practiced their Spanish, because I assumed that without any staff or the correct amount of staff, they would be stepping in to sell that day. That dispensary is right next to the border of Mexico, so the majority of our customers who come in are from Mexico, and of course the majority are Spanish speakers. That was basically it. I'm not necessarily upset that I got laid off of that job, just because, like I had mentioned, our incentives had already stopped months ago. I had already made it up in my head that I was going to be working somewhere else, whether it be 2 jobs or completely switch over full-time somewhere else. The only reason I had hesitated to actually submit my resume and apply to other places, I was just so emotionally attached to my coworkers and to the customers who came in. My coworkers became my friends and basically family to me. As far as my customers, obviously when I applied to that job, it was with the intentions to just be financially stable and just get my things taken care of. But working there, I realized that I was getting support and I guess in a way growing a fan base down there in TJ and in Mexico. Customers would come in, they would find out that I was into cars. I would give away my stickers there. They would go back to Mexico and they would talk about me to their friends, their coworkers, and people just kept coming in to the shop and would ask me about me and what I would do and for stickers. It was to the point where people were sending me pictures and videos of some food trucks down there with my stickers put on their trucks. They would even tell me that they would ask the workers about my sticker and they would be like, yeah, there's this girl in San Diego who drifts. It became almost a daily thing that customers would come in and they would ask me, hey, how's the cars? How are you doing? When are you going drifting next? Do you have any stickers? There was times where I felt like I was kind of like drifting away from my dreams and my plans and what I wanted to do with the car stuff. And I felt you guys like just kind of put me back on track and would remind me what I was doing everything for. I brought this because I knew I would need it. And yeah, it was because of you guys that I would stay on track with my stuff. And there was times where I felt like not exactly giving up, but I knew I wasn't working towards my goal and I was just kind of focusing on my daily life and working, and you guys would push me to put content out. Besides encouraging me to pursue what I love doing, like I had mentioned, I would get tips at that job. The majority of our customers are regular customers who come in almost every day. People who cross over to work here in San Diego but live in TJ. A lot of you guys would tip every day. There was times where I had very little money, or even a few times where I had no money at all. Like I had nothing, especially when I first started working there. I would just go into work and just hope for the best. I would walk out of work with enough tips to be able to pay for my gas and food. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys because I don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for you guys and your support. There was some times where people would tip me change and tell me I'm sorry that I don't have more, and I would literally always tell them no, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Like everything adds up, and it truly does. You know, when you get hundreds of customers throughout the day and whether they're tipping you $1 or even some change, you know, it adds up. I've been able to get past so many tough situations because of you guys. I'm a very emotional person, if you can't tell, but I truly did get attached to a lot of you guys. I enjoyed seeing you guys every day, talking to you guys. I was scared, I guess. I didn't want to say goodbye to you guys. Besides, my customers of my coworkers have helped me and let me borrow money at times when I needed it. You guys have been very kind and helpful, not just at work, but in my everyday lives, and I will always appreciate you guys for it. I do want to give a little shout out to a few of my coworkers, John, Oz, and Daryl. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be there. Thank you for fighting for us to be able to have the opportunities we had there. You guys took care of us, not just money-wise, but if we ever needed anything, you guys were there and you guys would always offer your support. Thank you to Jessica, my hiring manager. You've always been a sweet person and I've always been able to go to you anytime I needed support or anything. Thank you to the securities who work there, because you guys are literally the gatekeepers and our protectors there, and any issues that we would have, you guys would be there. A very special shout out to Enrique, Miguel, both of the Miguels that work there. You guys have been especially very nice. You guys are my friends. We've made a lot of great memories and laughed a lot of times. I would close with Miguel a lot, so he would always walk me to my car and make sure I would get in and I was safe before taking off. I just want to say thank you to my coworkers, Pablito, Adrian, Mike, Ryan, Willie, Alex, Angel, Sam, Vivi, Frankie, Danny, past employees as well. Thank you to all of you guys for being my friends and just being great coworkers. Just thank you for all the great memories. I follow a lot of you guys on Instagram. Not like we can't keep in touch. This isn't a goodbye whatsoever. The only reason I'm sad is just knowing that I won't be able to see you all every single day. Yeah, that was an end of an era in our job. I'm not mad whatsoever towards the new owners. I don't have any type of resentment towards them. I do truly wish the best for them and that shop. It's very unfortunate that it went down this way. You know, I do feel bad for Daryl and our higher ups who worked years and years making the shop successful and caring for us, and just for it to get sold away and taken over by someone else. I also see from the new owner's perspective on why they would want to, you know, restart the team and the shop and just, you know, make it their shop and their team, especially since a lot of us had some resentment towards them, especially with the whole incentive programs being taken away. Sorry, I just burped. But of course, there is our point of view. You know, we've been working there for a while. We had a team going on, and then these new owners come in and just kick us out. I am grateful at least that it was a layoff due to my position being eliminated, and that they didn't fire me for misconduct. Because if they wanted to, they could have easily fired me for my attendance. It's not that I would like call out or miss out on work all the time. It was more, my issue was I would always come 5 minutes late, but I definitely had some write-ups and final warnings on my tardiness. They could have easily fired me for that, but they didn't, which worked out best in my favor. I do wish the best for the new owners. I wish the best for the shop. They didn't let go of everybody. There are still like a good 5-6 employees who remain there. I know Mike was promoted to assistant manager, so congratulations, Mike. I would never say don't go to that shop anymore, and I would never talk bad about it, because like I said, some of our co-workers remain there, and I truly wish the best for them, and I hope the shop does take care of them in some type of way and make up for everything that's been happening and the efforts that they're going to put in, of course, with training the new team, dealing with being short-staffed and whatnot. As far as with me, I do think this is a blessing in disguise. I've been wanting to put more time and effort into growing my social media. My personal dream and goal is to compete in Formula Drift. I think the best way that I can make that happen is by focusing on my social media, my YouTube, to be able to fund myself, my travel, and any expenses I have, so that I can start competing. I have mentioned before to other people that I do want to buy a C6 to build and compete with. Of course, I have the Z. She's perfectly fine. She runs fine. You know, I could build her up, but I personally have a passion for American muscle. And I love vets, I love Mustangs, so I do want to purchase and invest in a vet rather than upgrading the Z. I'm not planning on selling her by any means. She's definitely there as my backup car. Last year, I had started a little website to sell my stickers. So if you guys would at any time like to purchase a sticker, I will put the link to my link tree in the bio if I can. I have listed on my link tree my other social medias as far as my Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and the website for my stickers. I just recently started my Facebook, so I don't really have a lot posted there, but I am planning on posting more content on there, just like how I do with TikTok and Instagram. At the moment, Instagram is my main platform and where I post the most and where I am actually on the app the most. I do definitely want to start vlogging my everyday life and posting longer videos on YouTube regarding my car stuff. I guess this will be my first one for 2024 and probably even 2023. I hope you guys don't mind. Like I had mentioned earlier, I have a bunch of videos that I have not edited or posted. I do intend on posting those throughout the year just to kind of show you guys what I've been doing for the past year or two. And I'll put the dates on when those videos were recorded, so that way you guys can like keep up with the timeline. I also want to start making my own merch in the future. I want to start making my own shirts and sweatshirts and sweatpants as well, whether it be my cars or me, or I don't know. I'm gonna come up with some ideas in the near future, so just know that that's going to be coming soon. I do truly believe that me getting let go from my job was a blessing in disguise. I've been hesitant to switch over to YouTube and social media full-time only because of the cost of living here in San Diego. If you guys don't know, San Diego is one of the most expensive places to live. A lot of you guys have encouraged and suggested that I should go full-time, and you guys have told me so many times that you guys believe in me and you guys know that I could blow up and I can make this happen. And it seems like you guys believe in me more than I believe in myself. And honestly, I am ready. I'm ready to take all this car stuff serious. This is what I love. I love drifting. I am very passionate about it. It's something that I do want to do for the rest of my life. And yeah, this is definitely the end and a beginning of a new era in my life. Really quickly, earlier when I shouted out the securities from my job, I mentioned 2 Miguels. Unfortunately, one of the Miguels has been missing since last year. I believe what had happened was he was selling one of his houses in Rosarito. He had gone to sell that house with his lawyer and the lawyer's son. They did the exchange, the money for the keys, I believe. After that, he disappeared. He never made it back home to his wife. He had just recently moved here to San Diego from Mexico, and he just never made it back home. It looks like a camera down in Mexico had caught a video of his car traveling. However, you can't see who was driving and you can't see who was in the car. It honestly broke my heart to hear that because Miguel was a very, very nice person. He was my friend as well. I do the most random stuff, and I started this thing where whenever I would see him, I would like stand up straight and tall and I would salute him. And he started doing the same thing back, where whenever I would come into work, or sometimes we would just make eye contact through the windows, and he would just stop and stand up tall and salute me. And I would come into work, he would joke around and say, La jefa de las jefes has arrived and stuff like that. He's a really great guy. He's very sweet and gentle, and it's just unfortunate that that situation happened. I know people had questioned the people who he had sold the house to, and they claimed that they paid him off and that he left, and that was the last time they heard of him. This happened right before Thanksgiving, so it's been months since his disappearance, and up to now that I know of, Miguel, his lawyer, and his son have not turned up. I will put a picture right here. This is something that was posted on Instagram and brought up to our attention. This is what he looks like. This is the information of his car. I wanted to bring it up in hopes that maybe someone has either seen him or seen his car and help give us some answers. I have hopes that they can all be found safe and sound. It was a very horrible and tragic thing what happened, and I'm praying for the best. I think that basically sums up everything that I wanted to say. Once again, thank you all so much, my coworkers, my bosses, and to all my lovely customers that I met and created friendships with. Once again, thank you all for your support and the great memories, and just know that this isn't a goodbye whatsoever. I hope that I can see you all soon. I do have a fear in change. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but sometimes change is good and it can be for the best. I am excited to see what the future has in store for me, and just like I have put all my efforts into a normal 9-to-5, I am going to be doing my best to put all those efforts into myself and what I want to do. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. Hitting that like button always helps. Drop a comment if you guys would like. Until the next video, I will see you guys pretty soon.